Hi, I'm Ashish Kulkarni, and I'm the co-founder of Eternity E-Learning LLP. And today, I'll be talking about the importance of setting goals the right way. Okay, so the first question that comes to mind is, why do I need to worry about setting goals? Isn't it just set goals and try to achieve them? Why do you need to think about what goals you're setting or how you're setting them? Okay, so the biggest point I would say, if you think like that, then I would just remind you, do you know about New Year's resolutions? Okay, we are very close to the end of the year, just a couple of months remaining. And you know that every year, on 31st of December or 1st of January, there is some kind of a party going on. And in that party, somebody brings up, hey, what are your New Year's resolutions? And all of us go ahead and make really lofty targets. So some people say, oh, I'm going to lose 5 kgs this year, or I'm going to come first in my class, or I'm going to finish that hike, or I'm going to have this target that I really want to achieve. And sometimes you set goals for yourself, sometimes other people set goals for you, and most of the time, what ends up happening is that no matter how good those goals are for you, how lofty those goals are, how good it feels when you're setting the goal, generally by January 2nd, you have mostly forgotten about it. If you're a little bit diligent and if you're the one who set the goals, maybe it will be till the end of the month. Or, if you're lucky, then it will be mid-February when you've decided to either give up or conveniently forget that you set any kind of goal like that. Because New Year's resolution will be then again for the next 31st December when it comes. So what I'm trying to say is that if you don't set the goal correctly, and if you don't specifically think about it, then most likely you will not be able to achieve it, or find a hurdle that makes you think that this goal is not for you, or it's not important enough, or it's too hard. Okay, so this video talks about that specific problem of how to set a goal in such a way that you will be able to meet it. Okay, so we'll be talking about 3 things in general. The first thing is a category of goals or type of goals called SMART goals. The second thing I'll be talking about is the question of whether, the importance of short-term goals and long-term goals. And third thing that I gave a little bit of importance is to the source of the goals. Who is setting the goals, whether it's you or is it external? Okay, so let's start by talking about SMART goals. Okay, so what do I mean by SMART goals? So this is an acronym, and it stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay. So let's take an example. Okay, so let's say that I want to really get good at public speaking. Why? Because I'm afraid to talk in front of a lot of people. It scares me that when I'm standing in front of a large crowd, that words don't come out of my mouth. Okay, so say that is what your objective is. I want to get good at public speaking, but it is not specific in this particular case. So what do I mean by that? What does it really mean by getting good at public speaking? Do you mean that when you are in public, like say when you are, at a supermarket, when there's a lot of public around, do you want to be able to speak to all of them? Or is it in a specific situation? No, it's like, maybe in your case it is, there is a school annual function where there's an audience of, say 300 people, and there's a stage and you would like to give a nice speech over there. Okay, good. So that's more specific about what you want to do. And okay, so maybe your target can be specific, like at this particular event or this kind of events, I should be able to give a speech that is at least say 10 minutes long with confidence. So that's a specific goal. So focus on making sure that whenever your goals are set, they are specific. So that you can define a boundary around them. The second part is measurable. Okay, what do I mean by that? So how do I measure something like getting good at? Okay, so say in case of the public speaking example, it can be, okay, how long do I want to be able to speak in front of people? Say 10 minutes. Okay, so 10 minutes is time. I can measure time. Okay, how many people can I speak in front of? Okay, the target is 200 people. Great. Okay, 200 is also a number. I can measure it now. How many mistakes do I make? Maybe getting good at something is how clearly do I express my thoughts, and how many times do my thoughts break because of mistakes and interruptions that I'm not able to handle. Okay, I can count the number of thoughts. I can measure that too. So what I'm talking about is when you take an abstract idea like being good at public speaking, it helps if your goal is broken down into measurable factors. In this particular case, how long you're speaking, how many people you're speaking in front of, maybe how many mistakes you're making while you're speaking, maybe mistakes per minute or mistakes per speech. Those are measurable things. So that is important to do, because then you can start by saying, okay, can I speak for 2 minutes in front of 5 people instead of reaching, instead of talking about speaking for 10 minutes in front of 200 people. You can basically measurableness of a goal helps you break the task down. That's extremely important. It's critical for any kind of a goal for you to be able to achieve it. Okay. The third thing, and this is actually an important thing, is it attainable? Now, an overly optimistic person will say, what are you talking about, Ashish? Every goal is attainable. If you just put your mind to it, you can attain anything you want in life. And that is a perfectly good attitude to have. But there can be unattainable goals. Like if your annual function is in 3 days, you are petrified of speaking in front of people, and you are not prepared with the speech, you are not going to most likely do well when you're going to speak, when you're going to have a 10-minute speech in front of 200 people, especially if you're scared of it. Now, you can call me pessimistic, but it will be just, if you do well, it will just be either a miracle, or you were lucky, or, the more likely scenario will be that you will make a fool of yourself and you'll lose confidence in public speaking forever. So the whole thing is that if you want to do something, and this is just a way to get a perspective, an extreme example. If you want to meet a particular target, you have to have that judgment in you: can I do it, or is it too big a bite? Am I going to put the whole watermelon in my mouth, or am I going to cut it into pieces and eat small chunk? So that's the same thing about the goal. You should see if it is big enough so that it is challenging for you, but small enough so that you can handle it. So is it an attainable goal for you? Okay. The fourth part is the goal relevant? Okay, so what do you mean by relevant? Generally, if the goal does not fit in your grand scheme of things, like say you really want to get good at public speaking, but somebody tells you, no, Ashish, you should really focus on making sure you can run a marathon. Maybe I don't care about it. Maybe there is no interest in it, but I'm saying yes just because everybody is making New Year's resolution and I want to sound cool. And I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to run 26 miles and, show other people how good I am at, my physical fitness. And then you later on realize that you don't really care because you ran 2 miles or 2 or 3 kilometers and you're like, I'm getting too tired. I don't want to do anything. And the goal is not relevant to you. You don't care about it. It's not, it's not a feeling that's coming from inside. So it's not fitting in with your targets, with your overall, your personality, with what you actually want to do. And, so basically the goal being relevant is very important, because if it is relevant, the drive will come from inside. If it's set from outside, and it's being just set for the wrong reasons, most likely you're going to end up failing in that goal. And lastly, is it time bound? Okay. Time bound, quite simple concept. I want to get good at public speaking. Okay, tell me when. And by the measurable aspect, how much, what is the progress that you expect by what time? It's extremely important because goals with no deadlines are not goals, because you don't know where the goalpost is. Is it in a week? Is it in a year? Or what is the time? What is it that you're trying to achieve? So those are the 5 points. Something being the goals being Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound is what you need to focus on whenever you're setting goals. And what I said was the second thing was after setting smart goals, you need to be able to have both short-term goals and long-term goals. And the reason for that is if you have, say, long-term goal that I'm going to achieve some target next year. Generally, when the deadline is very far away, it is a human tendency that you will start putting in the effort towards it when the deadline comes closer. So, setting short-term goal allows you to break the task down into smaller parts so that you can spread out your effort into small tasks where you know that okay, I have achieved the success in these short-term tasks, and you don't have to worry about the big tasks that you're going to achieve after 1 year. But since you've broken it down, they have become easier, and you know that just by meeting these smaller tasks, you are on your way to achieve the bigger goal, whatever you're setting for yourself. So, and the smart goals do allow you to do that because the measurableness of the task and the time boundness of it allows you to break it down into smaller parts. And so you can divide your long-term goals, into multiple short-term goals. And lastly, and I think this is very important, is what is the source of origination of the goal? Is the goal coming from inside? Mostly the relevant aspect of it is, do you really care about this particular goal? Does it fit into your long-term vision of who you are and what you want to be? And are you motivated by it? So if the goal is coming, if all those factors are there, you will find that there is automatic inner drive that will take you to go ahead and achieve this, achieve whatever goal you're setting, and you'll automatically find that whatever effort you want to put in, the effort is coming from inside. If the source of the goal is external, as soon as the external motivation goes away, your interest in the goal will go away. So these are the three things about setting goals, setting smart goals, being able to divide them into short-term and long-term, and making sure the source is internal so that you will be able to stick with the goal, till the point that you achieve it. Great. So good luck this year whenever you'll be setting your New Year's resolution, and hopefully you remember these factors. And reach out to me if you let me, if you try these methods and if they work out. I would really like to hear your feedback, or if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out, and I would love to talk about that with you. All right. Take care, everybody.